Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Azimah. Today our group will be presenting about our assignment 3 with our selected city is Jakarta. Jakarta Overview. Jakarta is located on the northwest coast of Java Island near the Ciliwung River and facing the Java Sea. It covers around 664 square kilometres of land and nearly 7,000 square kilometres of maritime area, including Thousand Island. Due to its low elevation, only 5 to 8 meters above sea level, Jakarta faced serious environmental issues such as flooding, land sinking, and coastal erosion. From 1995 to 2014, over 80% of Jakarta's land was developed, which led to the loss of green and agricultural space. Most of this development has been horizontal, not vertical, which causes inefficient land use and contributes to major urban sprawl. Jakarta is also part of a much larger metropolitan area known as Jabodetabek, which includes cities like Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi. This region covers 6,800 square kilometres and is home over to 32 million people, making it one of the largest urban areas in the world. Jakarta is expected to reach 11.63 million in 2025, a big increase from just 1.45 million in 1950. Each year, the city grows by around 198,000 people or 1.70%. This leads to high daily commuting, especially from the suburban to the city centre. Rapid urban growth and strong internal migration create pressure on housing and basic service. As a result, Jakarta struggles with overcrowded housing, expanded formal settlements, and unequal access to clean water, sanitation, and public transport. Jakarta has a highly varied but extremely congested transport system that includes road, rail, and bus service. The city operates the world's longest bus rapid transit network, Transjakarta, with over 234 roads and more than 1 million daily passengers. Complementing this is the KRL commuter line, which had 328 million users in 2023 and connect Greater Jakarta area like Bogor, Bekasi, and Tangerang. The Jakarta MRT, launched in 2019, spanned 15.7 km and served over 40 million riders in 2023. Most recently, the LRT Jabodetabek began operation in August 2023, helping to improve access to outer urban area and reduce reliance on private vehicles. Despite this development, only 18.5% trips in Jakarta use public transport. Over 80% rely on private cars and motorcycles, leading to serious traffic congestion and high pollution level. To tackle this, Jakarta introduced Jaklingko, a system that integrates BRT, MRT, LRT, and minibus service with unified ticketing and fare payment to promote more efficient and connected public transport use. On the digital side, Gojek, Indonesia leading mobility as a service platform, played a crucial role. Founded in Jakarta, it offers fast, affordable transport through its Go Ride and Go Transit features, connecting users with the public transport routes and promoting cashless payment via GoPay. It's especially valuable in areas where transport is limited, solving critical first and last mile travel gaps.
I will present about key transport and logistic challenges. Jakarta is famous for its heavy traffic congestion, consistently ranking among the worst in the world. The problem stems from narrow roads, a lack of alternative routes, and insufficient infrastructure like flyovers and underpasses. Poor traffic enforcement allows behavior like illegal parking and lane cutting to persist, especially during rush hours. Even new elevated toll routes quickly become overwhelmed by demand. Compounding the issue is weak traffic management and the limited use of smart technologies. Without a strategic and holistic approach, mobility in Jakarta will continue to suffer. For public transport limitation, Jakarta has made effort to improve public transport, including the MRT and the Transjakarta BRT. However, coverage is still limited, mainly serving central and southern areas, while northern and peripheral zones rely on outdated and overcrowded minibuses known as angkut. Integration between modes like MRT, BRT, and the commuter line remains weak despite the Jaklingko system. Poor signage, accessibility issues, and disconnect schedule make transferring difficult. Moreover, inadequate sidewalks, lighting, and the bike lanes make first and last mile travel unsafe, especially for women, children, and people with disabilities. For travel behavior pattern, due to the unreliability of public transport, many residents, especially those from middle and high income groups, choose for private vehicles for greater control and comfort. In areas outside central Jakarta, daily commutes can take up to 4 hours, significantly affecting productivity and quality of life. With central housing becoming unaffordable, many people live farther from work, increasing travel demand. Ride-hailing services like Gojek and Grab help bridge transport gaps and are convenient for short or last-mile trips. However, their dominance raises concern about traffic congestion, safety, and competition with public transport. Gender-based safety concern also call for more inclusive mobility option. Next is freight flow and logistic bottleneck. As Indonesia logistic hub, Jakarta handle massive domestic and international freight. The port of Tanjung Priok, while critical, suffer from congestion and outdated infrastructure, raising logistic costs, especially for small and medium enterprise. Inside the city, delivery truck face road restriction and traffic, causing delay and fuel waste. To adapt, companies use smaller vehicle, which increases road congestion and emission. A lack of logistic hub, poorly coordinated deliveries, and minimal digital tracking create bottleneck, particularly in last-mile delivery. Rapid e-commerce growth is good for the economy, but adds pressure to an already strained freight system. Other challenges for Jakarta is environmental challenges. Jakarta transport sector heavily contributes to pollution with over 3.5 million cars and 14 million motorcycles. In 2018, the city ranked as the 10th most polluted capital globally. Public health and productivity are severely affected by poor air quality. Flooding is another recurring issue, especially in low-lying northern areas. For example, the January 2025 floods displaced 90,000 people and caused losses exceeding 2.1 trillion rupiah. On top of these challenges, governance is fragmented across multiple agencies. Without real-time, consolidated data, it's difficult to plan and respond effectively. This hinders the implementation of key policies like congestion pricing, emission control, and freight coordination.
Jakarta is the economic powerhouse of Indonesia, contributing over 70% of the country's total GDP. The city is home to major financial institutions, international companies, and the port of Tanjung Priok, which is the busiest port in the country and a vital part of the national logistic network. After experiencing a recession during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Jakarta's economy recovered well in the following years. In 2020, it recorded a GDP growth rate of 5.25%, which was higher than the national average. This growth was driven mainly by strong performance in trade, transportation, and the digital services sector. Jakarta also has the highest GDP per capita in Indonesia, reaching around Rp 2,070 million or about USD 18,000. However, this rising income has contributed to increased car, motorcycle ownership, which links directly to higher emission and traffic congestion. This highlights the challenge of achieving environmental sustainability alongside economic growth. Next, Jakarta's transport sector is a major part of its economy, contributing about 5.3% to the city regional GDP. It plays a crucial role in enabling daily commuting, trade, and logistic activities. However, the city is heavily dependent on private vehicles, with around 70% of daily trip made by cars or motorcycle. This shows a strong car-oriented culture. Meanwhile, public transport usage remains low, even though the city has expanded services like the MRT, LRT, and Transjakarta BRT. Jakarta is also one of the most congested cities in the world. According to the TomTom Traffic Index, commuters lost over 100 hours per year in traffic delays. This is not only affect productivity but also increases emissions and fuel use. On top of that, the rise of e-commerce has increased delivery traffic and pressure on already crowded roads. Overall, while transport boosts the economy, its current form adds major challenges to sustainability and decoupling goals. Next, transportation is the largest source of carbon emission in Jakarta. According to the Jakarta Environmental Agency in 2021, the transport sector was responsible for about 46% of the city total CO2 emission. This is mainly due to the huge number of motorized vehicles. Jakarta had over 21 million registered vehicles, with the majority being motorcycles and private cars that still rely on fossil fuels. These emissions are made worse by traffic congestion, idling engines, and old, inefficient vehicles still in use. While Jakarta has started introducing electric buses and offering incentive for electric vehicles, the adoption rate remains very low. This shows that emissions are still closely linked to mobility patterns and economic activity, and that Jakarta is far from achieving absolute decoupling in this sector. Jakarta transport system is still highly dependent on fossil fuels, mainly gasoline and diesel. The sector consumes over 100 petajoules of energy every year, which makes it both energy intensive and carbon heavy. This high fuel usage contributes directly to air pollution. According to IQ Air, Jakarta is consistently ranked among the most polluted cities in the world. PM2.5 levels in many areas regularly exceed WHO safe limits, which poses serious health risks, especially for children and the elderly. In addition to air quality problems, Jakarta also faces urban flooding, noise pollution, and the urban heat island effect. These are made worse by traffic congestion, paved surfaces, and limited green space. All of this environmental pressure highlight how the current transport system is not just unsustainable, but also a barrier to achieving environmental decoupling.
Let's continue. I'll be sharing the cultural, social, and behavioral context of transport in Jakarta. According to data from BPS, only about 26.74% of people using public transport, while 73.26% rely on private vehicle. This shows a strong preference of private vehicle, mainly because public transport is often seen as crowded, unsafe, and unreliable. Let's look at the general transport culture. The transportation culture in Jakarta is a quite individualistic and motorized city. Over 40% of non-work trips are made by motorbikes, while walking is also common for short trips under 1 kilometer. Even though only around 20 to 25% of households own a car, cars are still seen as symbol of comfort, safety and status, especially among the middle and upper class. Ride-hailing services like Gojek and Grab have become a popular solution. People use them for shopping, medical visits, or other personal travel. However, these services are also add to road congestion and rely heavily on illegal driver networks. Now, moving on to gender and income differences. Women tend to make shorter and multitasking trips like buying groceries or dropping off kids. So they often avoid public transport due to safety concerns. According to survey, only 9.4% of women using private vehicle are willing to switch to public transport, while men usually travel longer distances mostly for work, and only 7.9% are willing to change modes. Income also play a role. High-income individuals, those earning more than 4 million rupiah a month, are willing to switch to public transport if it's comfortable and on time. But for low-income group, public transport access is limited, especially in outer or informal areas, so they often forced to walk or ride motorbikes. Now, let's talk about the group who often face the most difficulties, which are youth, the elderly, and people with disabilities. For youth, often related to university students, especially those from outside the city, safety and cost are big concerns. Many prefer motorbike or ride-hailing services, but not everyone can afford them. So, to reduce travel stress, students often rent rooms near the campuses. Next, the elderly are more open to using public transport, but physical barriers stop them. Sidewalks are often blocked or damaged, and public transport lack basic elderly-friendly features like ramp and seating. People with disabilities face the greatest challenges. Many depend on public buses like Transjakarta, but they deal with a missing ramp, broken elevator, unsafe sidewalk, and no tactile signs. First and last mile access is a major problem, so they often can't even reach the bus stop safely. Lastly, behavior and perception play a big role. Many people choose motorbikes because they offer freedom and speed. In Jakarta, owning a car means success. Using public transport sometimes feels like a step backward. On the other hand, public transport is often seen as last choice, something people use only if they have no other option. Women in particular report feeling unsafe and anxious on buses or at stations. Even those who want to use public transport, like the elderly and students, may feel ashamed or scared. So, to improve mobility in Jakarta is not just about fixing the buses or roads, it's also about changing how people think and feel about using public transport.
I will be presenting how Jakarta used Gojek to support its decoupling strategy, reducing the environmental impact of transport while still growing the economy. Instead of focusing only on routes or trains, Jakarta takes a touch-based approach using Gojek service like GoRide, GoCar, GoSend, and GoPay. This offers affordable and convenient alternative to private vehicles, helping reduce traffic and emissions. Gojek also solves first and last mile issues by connecting people to public transport system like the MRT, LRT, and BRT, especially in areas with limited access. This makes public transport more usable for more people. It also promotes shared mobility with cashless payment and easy booking. Gojek encourages people to use ride sharing instead of owning cars. A government study even found out to a 15% drop in private car use in some areas. Finally, Gojek helps Jakarta plan smarter. The data from its rides support traffic management, emission tracking, and better city planning, helping build a greener and more inclusive city without needing massive infrastructure projects. First, Gojek depends on good infrastructure. While it does need new highways, poor roads, and unclear pickup points cause delays and safety problems, especially for motorcycle ride. To fix this, Jakarta should improve sidewalk, organize cap zone, and add better signs and lighting to support both Gojek and public transport. Second, government support is crucial. Even though Gojek is a private company, it plays a public role by reducing traffic and pollution. The government should treat Gojek as a transport partner by encouraging electric vehicles, protecting driver rights, and working together on long-term mobility plans. Third, public mindset need to shift. Many people still see owning a car as a symbol of success. We need to show that using Gojek and other transport is smart, safe, and modern. Gojek should also stay inclusive by supporting users who struggle with digital app like the elderly or low-income groups. Lastly, technology and funding play a big role. Gojek collects a lot of real-time travel data, which can help the city plan better. Jakarta should partner with Gojek to use this data, expand EV charging networks, and explore new funding tools like carbon credit to support greener transport. Economically, Gojek helps people save on transport costs. It also provides flexible jobs for thousands of drivers, reducing unemployment and supporting daily income. When combined with MRT or BRT, it makes commuting faster and easier. Environmentally, Gojek reduces traffic and fuel use by lowering the number of private cars. This helps out air pollution. Gojek is also starting to use electric motorcycle, which support Jakarta goal for greener transport by 2030. Socially, Gojek offers affordable rides to people in low-income and remote areas. It also improves safety for women with features like women-only drivers and live tracking. Plus, it opens job opportunity for those outside the formal job market. This is a proposed idea for decoupling strategy called IMCZR, which stands for Integrated Mobility Credits and Zoning Reform. This approach supports Jakarta's goal for cleaner and more sustainable transport. First, the mobility credit system gives people digital credits for using public transport, walking, cycling, or EVs. It rewards eco-friendly travel. Second, mobility priority zones are areas near MRT or BRT station where cars are limited. These zones are walkable, green, and support mixed-use living. This strategy needs strong support from Gojek, the government, and urban planner, and it is tracked using driver data and feedback.
In conclusion, Jakarta's rapid growth has created a complex and crowded transport system. Although the city has built major projects like the MRT, LRT, Transjakarta, and KRL, most people still use private cars, causing traffic and pollution. Jakarta's experience shows the importance of integrating transport system through solutions like Jaklingko and using digital platforms like Gojek to improve first and last mile access. However, challenges like congestion, air pollution, and unequal access still remain. Moving forward, Jakarta needs to improve rail services, promote public transport use, and apply sustainable transport strategies. Others growing cities can learn valuable lessons from Jakarta's effort.